everyone, I'm back with another card making video. This one is a new one to me. I've never made one of these cards before. I was asked a little while back if I had ever done a tutorial on a Criss Cross card. Well, no. I did not ever do a tutorial on that because I have never made one before until now. So I decided to play around over the weekend and try to figure out a Criss Cross card. And so I looked it up and I wanted to make an A2 size one. I know that there's a whole ton of different sizes out there, but I wanted to keep it simple and basic for myself. So I like this size. I like the landscape. So this is the one I'm going to stick with. So I've made 6 of them already. I'm going to make a few more. So I'll just show you the ones I made. And these are all Stampin' Up! Products. So this is Rich Razzleberry. And the little tag comes out from the top. And Real Red. Pumpkin Pie. Old Olive, Marina Mist, and this one is Daffodil Delight. So what I used to make these cards is I used the Perfect Blend stamp set. So that looks like that. And then I used the Itty Bitty Banners, and I used the thank you that's right there. So that one looks like that. I also used, for my cup, I stamped it in baked brown sugar. I did some paper piecing here, so if you guys want to know how I did that, I can do a separate video on how I do my paper piecing. So, and I used the Polka Dot Parade Designer Series paper, and these are the 6 colors that it comes in. So I put a piece of that on my cup, and for my little stick at the top, I can also show in a video how I did that, and along with the paper piecing. So if you guys want to know how to make the little cup the way that I do, I can do that in a separate video. So here's my little cup. And then I have my little thank you stamped and matted already. And I don't have the little tab punch, and I cannot get a hold of it anywhere, and I refuse to pay $80 on eBay for one. That's just ridiculous to me. So I'm going to live without it. So I made my own tabs, and I think they look fine. I like the way that they turned out. So my tab looks like this, and all I did was use a current punch, and it's the Artisan Label Punch. So that's how I did my tabs, and then I just stuck them in my scoreboard. I will show you really quick here. I have a black line going down the center of mine, so all I did was center my 2 points up here and just scored it right down the middle so they'd be easier to fold. So that's how I did my tab. And then I have all of my other pieces cut right here to save some more time. So this is going to be a 5.5 by 4 1/4 inch card when it's finished. So for my base, all I did was take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, and I cut it at 4 1/4. So I have 2 strips that are 4 1/4 by 11. Now each one of those strips, you're going to score at 5.5. And that's going to give us our center point of our 2 pieces. We're done with that for now. Then you're going to want to get your trimmer, whatever trimmer you have. And I like to flip mine over so I know which, because we're going to connect our card right here in the center. And I want to fold against my score line, so I usually flip mine over. So this is going to be the left side, and I want to go diagonally to the left. So I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to line it up from the top of my score line to the bottom corner, and then I'm just going to slice it. So you have this little piece left over. And I save these because these are great for stamping and punching out of and stuff like that. So then it's going to look like this. Now for my right side, I'm going to go diagonally to the right. And again, I'm going to line the top of my score line up to the bottom corner. And then I'm just going to slice it. Just like that. So now we have both of our pieces. And then I have already cut my designer paper, so I'll go over the dimensions of that with you. These have been holding just fine using my ATG tape, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to go all the way around all four sides and right down the middle. If you want, you can use the red liner tape, you can use score tape, whatever. This is just what I always have handy. And a lot of times if I'm not doing a box or something that I'm actually putting together, my ATG tape works really well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this one up with this one. I'm not going to cross over that score line. I know it's kind of hard to see with the white paper in the back, so I'm going to try to, just going to line it up as close as I can without going over. And then I'm just going to do that. So if you have a little tiny bit hanging over like that, you can just trim it, which I'm going to go ahead and do, because that's going to drive me crazy. Just take your scissors and just trim right across. And I had this little teeny sliver. So I'm going to take some 1/8 inch score tape. I'm going to put it along the bottom of the inside part of this card. And then I'm going to take another strip and I'm going to put it on the right panel. So there's that. Go over it with my bone folder. So I'm going to take the middle piece off. Well, I'm going to fold my score line first so I know that I've got it straight. Okay, so we'll just take this little center one, line this up, and then press that down. So there we have half of our pocket. Now you want to put your solid paper, your pattern paper here before you stick the other side down, because it will cross over, making that crisscross look. So I'm just going to line this up and so it'll look like that. And I've already cut my papers, and I just used some solid cardstock for my left panel, and then I used the opposite side of the polka dot parade for the right panel. So these pieces, when you cut them, you want to cut them 5 1/4 by 4, and then whatever direction you want this to go is the direction you need to cut diagonally. So this would have been my 5 1/4 and my 4, so I cut it to the right to put this piece right here on the left. But when you're doing solid cardstock, you don't really have to worry about which direction you cut it, because you can take this piece and you can flip it over and put it on this side. If you need 2 pieces per card. If you're using solid, you can use 1 piece. When you're doing a pattern, this pattern actually I was able to use both pieces for, because of the pattern that it is. It's just the circles, the little dotted circles. So when I cut this, I was able to use this for 2 cards because I'm making 2 in each color. But as you can't really flip this one over and use it on that side, you'd have to flip it that way. So you could do 1 pattern on this side and you could do 1 pattern on that side if that's how you chose to do it. So I hope you guys kind of get that. So I'm going to go ahead and attach my left panel piece. So we're going to go ahead and get this piece on. So there we have the left panel, and now I'll go ahead and close this up since we're done with that. Make sure my bottom lines up. And we'll go ahead and attach the right side. And I flip it upside down because I work better when I'm putting it in this corner. So just like that. And there we have our little crisscross and our pocket. So for the inside, I cut my inside tag at, let me grab my note. My inside tag or card pullout is 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. So I cut my paper at 5 3.5. And I went ahead and used the polka dot side. So I'm just going to attach this and center it right onto that card. So just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and slip it inside. And this is where I line up to put my little tab on. So I'm going to fold it in half and go ahead and burnish that. And I just use a little bit of this score tape. You can use whatever kind of sticky adhesive you want for this. You want to make sure that it's going to stay on. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up. Now what I do, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll zoom in a little bit. Whoops, in, not out. Is I line it up. Move this up. There we go. So I center it on my middle line on my little grid, my paper grid. So I know that 8 inches right here is the middle of my grid. And then I hold it down. And then when I place my little tab on, I make sure I have about 1/8 of an inch inside of my card here. So I'm just trying to center it between the little squares that I have. Then I just open it up. And then I just stick this front piece down. So I know that when that goes in there, it's going to be centered. So then I take it out. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. So I'm going to peel my other little piece of score tape off. And then I just run a little strip of ATG tape in there just to make sure it's going to stay closed. So just like that, there's my little tab. That just goes right in there. And then I'm going to pop these up on dimensionals, but I also cut a strip that goes across the front. And this piece measures 5 3/8 by 3/4 of an inch. And I just like to have that little strip there just to break it up. So I'm going to go ahead and take some 1/2 inch score tape. You can do this to where the band goes all the way around the card, but I didn't really see that that was necessary for what I was doing. So I chose not to do that and just put the strip in the front. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this so that way I know that my tape is from end to end, since it will be on the front of this card. And then we're just going to kind of eyeball this. Usually line it up straight at the top. And I kind of know where I want my placement because I've made a few. So I just drop it down, make sure that it's straight, and then go ahead and press down. So that score tape should hold that in place really well, that little band. Then I'm going to take some dimensionals. And I use 4 of them on this coffee cup. And I put 2 on the back of my banner. So just go ahead and peel these off. Then you just place your cup. Just like that. And here's my little banner. And there you have a cute little Criss Cross thank you card using Stampin' Up! Products. Now you can go ahead and add little blings or whatever you want. I'm not quite sure if I'm finished or if I'm going to add some bling on this or not, but for now, this is what my little set of thank you cards looks like. So I hope you guys give this a try. These are super fun and super cute. And you can make them for any theme or season or holiday or whatnot. And I sat here on Saturday and I pumped out 5 of them on Saturday. So they're super quick. Once you kind of get started and you know what you're doing, if you're going to make them in bulk, I pre-cut everything and then I just assemble. So much easier. So thank you guys for watching again. I'll put a link in the description where you can purchase any of these Stampin' Up! Products that were used, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye!